Hello and welcome to the Canadian Edge. Looking at another knife today. Gonna check out another CJRB knife, and the one that we have on the table today, it is the CJRB Taiga. The Taiga has a blade length of 3.5 inches. Open, it is 8.25 inches long. Closed, it is 4.75 inches. The steel on this, it is a D2, and it has a stone-washed finish on it. The blade is a drop point blade, and the weight on this is 4.91 ounces. The handle on this, it is a G10 handle, and you can see it does have the knurled grip on it, which gives you a good grasp on this knife. It does have the stainless steel liner as well. Only the top one, well, the top one at this moment, if I flip it over, only one of these actually has some skeletonizing, and hopefully you can see it in there, to reduce weight a little bit. The side with the liner lock on it doesn't have the skeletonizing. Not that that makes any difference. The biggest reason they do that is just, as I say, to reduce weight a little bit on them. The pocket clip, it is stainless steel. It's reversible, tip up, deep carry pocket clip. So again, lefties, this works good for you guys. You can flip the pocket clip and carry it left-handed. And the only thing is the liner lock, but I'm sure you lefties are used to working with liner locks. If not, you will get used to it. It is a flipper tab opening, and the flipper tab, it's not too huge, but it's a good size and easy to get a hold of. And it has a liner lock, as I mentioned earlier. The liner lock is quite easy to access, and so yes, it works quite well. It does have a lanyard hole on it, and you do have the open spine as well. And it does have somewhat of a choil. You could use that as a finger choil, but I don't suggest it. Again, it's more for a sharpening purposes, so that you get the full sharpening of the blade, or of the edge length. But if you're very careful, you could, and your fingers are small enough, you could use it as a finger choil. But again, it's more of a sharpening choil on there. So, and the nice thing too, again, this knife I believe was in the $40 to $50 range here in Canada. It's mostly lined up, slightly off to the one side, but that can be easily fixed. But it's pretty close to the middle, and there is no blade play up or down, side to side. It sits in there quite solid. And I've noticed that. I have a couple other CJRBs, and I've noticed that they seem to be built fairly solid for the fact that you're not spending huge amounts of money to get them. So I do like the aesthetics on this knife. It's a pretty decent knife. We're going to take a look at some size comparisons here. We've got the Ontario Rat 2, so it's bigger than that. We've got a Civivi Elementum, again bigger, and a couple others here. Sog Terminus and Spyderco Tenacious. You can see that the The Taiga has size on all of them. And we'll do one more here. The CJRB Praxis. And they're pretty close to the same size. Yeah, not a lot of difference. It's going to be pretty minute if there's differences in the size of them there. So it is a fairly big knife. And sharp wise, let's see what it does. Is it sharp? It seems to cut through paper. Well, it was until... Let's try that again, shall we? There we go. That's a little better. I don't know why I was going to put that off to the side. So it does have an edge on it by the looks of it. Try the zip tie and see how it does with the zip tie. Okay, went through that pretty easily. I'm going to assume I cut my string a little short there. But I just managed to pull that through without a whole lot of effort. And yeah, same with that. Cut through that cord without much effort at all. So it does come with a good edge, and I've noticed that with all the CJRBs that I have, they do seem to have a good edge on them. And so as I started to say, I like the aesthetics of this knife. I do like the blade profile. Although it's kind of a style that is similar with a lot of knives out of there. Or out there, not out of there. It doesn't have necessarily like a big wow factor to it. But it is a good design, a good common design. I like the swedge up on the top of the blade there. Gives it just a little more distinction in the look of it. And yeah, as I say, it's not like it has a lot of wow factor, but it's a decent looking knife, and the aesthetics on it are pretty good. The ergonomics are good. I'm a person that likes jimping, so I would prefer if it had some jimping up on the top. But you do get a good purchase with the handle, and you can see it's cut out quite a bit here, and then with the flipper tab comes down as far as it does, it'll definitely prevent your finger from sliding forward. But you shouldn't have a problem with that. It grips quite well. And again, it has a little bit of room, so if you have a bigger hand, you still might have to put your pinky finger back there, depending on how big your hand is, but at least you've got room on the handle. It's big enough for most hands that it shouldn't be a problem. And it appears to be a sharp knife. And I've used this for opening different things around the house and cutting some string and rope and things like that, and it works very well for that. Some of the things that and the pivot on it is pretty decent. It's a little stiffer than some of the other CJRB knives that I have, and I don't know why I keep getting my hands in the way. Not quite as smooth as a couple of the other knives that I have, but still, you know, for a $40 knife, it fires every time. It feels pretty good, and you can see it's smooth enough that it's almost drop close, but still a little stiffer than some of the other CJRBs that I've worked with. And again, I'm going to complain about the pocket clip. I wish they would have mounted it flush inside the handle, just to avoid that little bit of wear and tear. But again, not a huge problem, not a deal breaker on this knife by any stretch of the imagination. Just a personal preference that it would not be there. And also the liner lock, it is a little bit on the stiff side to push the liner lock down, but nothing horrible. It's still very workable, and it's a good knife. It feels good in your hand. Definitely be a good everyday carry for anybody looking for a slightly larger everyday carry knife. This would definitely fit the bill. The price on it is good too. I'm sure it was $44 or something. Anyway, that's Canadian. They're less down in the States. And you can find these again here in Canada on the West Coast at House of Knives and Warriors and Wonders. And then I've seen them online at a lot of places down in the States, Blade HQ and Knife Center and different places carry them, and carry a variety of the CJRB knives. And so it would be definitely, I would recommend this as an everyday carry for somebody who's not looking to spend big money on a knife. And even if you are a person who budget isn't a problem, you just want a good knife that will do the job around the house or in the garage, things like that, this would be a good knife. And it would be a good knife out camping and that as well, because you've got a bit of size, so you can do some of the jobs out camping, trimming up tree branches and stuff for roasting sticks and things like that. So yes, I would definitely recommend this as a good everyday carry knife. So that is the CJRB Taiga. Thank you for joining me on this review. I'll be doing another one in a few days. Until then, you stay safe and stay sharp.